Good evening to all and welcome to the session, the Hindu Editorial Analysis for Proficiency in English. Today's editorial is all about a serious allegation against India about assassination of a Khalistani separatist, an important editorial. There are some important words you can learn from this editorial. Am I audible? Let us start the session with editorial vocabulary. The very first word, indictment. Indictment, part of speech noun, meaning a formal accusation or charge of a serious crime. Usually we use two words, accusation, allegation. But this particular word is a formal word, indictment, meaning a formal accusation. Here you have to focus on the word formal, a formal accusation or charge of a serious crime. Example, the grand jury issued an indictment against a suspect for embezzlement. In the example also, you may come across a few important words, either meaning point of view or grammar point of view. Try to focus on those words. Jury, an important word, a collective noun, you have to recollect the rule. The grand jury issued an indictment against a suspect for embezzlement. Embezzle, an important word, means illegally taking the company's money, organization's money. For this, we use another word, swindle. Swindle or embezzle both mean the same. And there's one important idiomatic expression here, embezzle, swindle. If you take a manager, imagine he has made a lot of money using the organization's money, he has swindled money. Make one's feather one's own nest. That is an idiomatic expression. He has feathered his own nest. That is an important idiom. What are the word forms? Indictment, noun. Indict, verb. Indictable, it is adjective. But generally we use it as a noun. Word combinations, criminal indictment, federal indictment. And the synonyms, as I said at the outset, accusation, charge, serious charge, allegation. Antonyms, acquittal, exoneration. I'm sure many of you know the word acquittal, but you got to focus on the word exonerate. Exonerate, a verb form, exoneration, noun, an important word. Stop blaming someone, stop accusing someone. An important word. Let us go to the second word from today's editorial. Outrage is a verb, but you all know we can use the verb. If you take the past participle form, it can be used as an adjective. That way, here it is an adjective, meaning extremely angered or offended. Usually, not offended, we use extremely angered, outraged. Example, the community was outraged by the unjust decision. Just, an important word, it has many meanings. He has just come. That is not an important meaning. It is used as a part of a sentence. On the other hand, just means fair, fair, or proper, or correct. And what is a typical combination? Just treatment, fair treatment, proper treatment, correct treatment. Word forms outrage, verb, outraged, outraged, outrageously, adverbial form. Word combinations are very important from the exam point of view. Outraged reaction, publicly outraged, outraged reaction, publicly outraged. And here, synonyms, furious, very angry, incensed, rarely we use, infuriated, an important word. I'm sure many of you know the word furious, but you got to remember incensed and also infuriated. Antonyms, calm, composed, indifferent. Not exactly indifferent. You can use words calm and composed. Sober, another important word. Today, Anusha is not there. Usually, she comes up with a lot of synonyms. Looks like she is not there today. But we have other students, Pandu, Tirupati Rao, Tripura Sundari, all these. Keep adding, keep writing whatever you know. Very good. Tripura Sundari has mentioned jury, staff, committee. Misappropriate also, Pandu, very good. Embezzle, swindle, misappropriate, feather one's own nest, all are very important. What is the third one? Upfront, an important word, part of speech, adjective. Honest. Usually mispronounce, people mispronounce this word. They tend to say honest. Based on that, they say a honest person. Wrong. Here we have to use the indefinite article and because her sound is silent. An honest person. Honest, straightforward, or direct in one's approach. What is the example? She appreciated his upfront admission of the mistake. That means confession. Word forms upfront, both adjective and adverb. Do remember, that way it is important. Exam point of view. What is the reason? Mince no words, Tripura Sundari. Usually, we have the adverbial form. We add ly to change an adjective to an adverb. But sometimes we have the same form. Adverbs have the same form as adjectives. Usually, I give the examples hard, fast, loud, late, early. And to that list, you should add this word as well, upfront, not upfrontly. Word combinations, upfront payment, upfront about something, honest about something, upfront costs. That's a different meaning. Candid is an important word I usually tell students. If you take British English, we also say to be frank, a standard expression. But if you take Americans, they don't say to be frank, they say to be candid. The same meaning, to be frank, to be candid. And candid photography means what? As you are shot. That is known as candid photography. Forthright, an important word. See, among synonyms, if you come across something new or important, you got to focus and spend some time after the session. Transparent, that is also an important word because it has two different meanings. One meaning transparent, opposite of opaque. But here, transparent means what? Candid. Antonyms deceptive, evasive, secretive. Secretive, a simple word, deceit. From that, you get the word deceptive and also evasive. These words you got to focus on. Inkling, we have got for the first time, and an important word you got to remember, part of speech noun, meaning a slight knowledge or suspicion, a hint. Generally, we use it in the negative form. I had no inclination about his true intentions. Inclination is a noun form. Inkling, also noun form. Inkling, slight knowledge or suspicion, a hint. He had no inkling of the surprise party waiting for him. Means he had no idea about the surprise party waiting for him. No inkling, an important word. Word forms inkling. Inclination, though a little different, it goes with this meaning as well. Word combinations, vague inkling, vague hint, faint inkling. Faint also means the same, not very clear. Smell the rat, naidu paidi, very good. And suspicious, that's true. Hint, uh, linking, okay. I appreciate Tripathurao, those words as well. Synonyms, hint, clue, suspicion. Antonyms, certainty, knowledge, awareness. You're aware of something. Grave has got two different meanings. We have got this word many a time, but I wanted to present this format. It may be useful. It can be an adjective, it can be a noun. As an adjective, it means serious, solemn, but as a noun, it means a burial place for a dead body. Example, the situation took a grave turn when diplomatic relations were strained. Means what? Serious turn, exactly. Word forms gravely, graves. As a noun, grave, graves. As an adverb, gravely. Word combinations, grave concern, grave consequence. We have come across many a time, grave situation. Synonyms, serious, somber. Somber is an important word, symmetry. That means grave, symmetry. Antonyms, light-hearted, trivial. Light-hearted, easy, trivial. We have got many a time an important word from the exam point of view. Incompetence. I usually give the word competence, core competency. Yes, grave situation, worse, worst situation. Incompetence is opposite of competence. Competence means what? Skill in a particular field. And one important expression you have to remember, core competency, meaning lack of ability, skill, or effectiveness in performing duties. The project's failure was attributed to the team's incompetence. Obviously, the project's failure was attributed to the team's incompetence. What are the word forms? Incompetent person, incompetent manager, incompetently. They have done the work incompetently, adverbial form. Gross incompetence, one combination. Managerial incompetence, another important combination. Core competence is my regular expression. What are the synonyms? Inefficiency, inadequacy, incapacity. Antonyms: competence, proficiency, capability, ability, expertise. All these words you can think of. A rogue. We all know the word rogue. It goes with everyday English. And there's a movie also, I suppose. It is a noun, both noun and adjective. Then you got to be alert. Meaning, as a noun, a dishonest or unprincipled person. Is a rogue means what? Dishonest or unprincipled person. As an adjective, as a noun, one meaning, as an adjective, behaving in an unpredictable or dangerous way. Here, this second meaning is very important as an adjective, unpredictable or dangerous way. The spy operated as a rogue agent within the organization, means dishonest, rogue agent. And word forms roguish, roguishly, adverbial form. Inadept also you can say, very good, Tirupati. I appreciate that. Word combinations, a rogue state, sometimes a particular state may be, and rogue behavior, rogue agent, rogue manager, rogue spy. Synonyms, scoundrel, all these are very strong negative words. Scoundrel, rogue, rascal. In the past, people would use these words regularly. Nowadays, I don't think these words are in usage. Of late, I haven't come across the words like scoundrel, rascal. These are earlier in the past, they were part of everyday English. And as an adjective, unpredictable, erratic. Erratic, an important word. It goes with a machine, it goes with a computer, unpredictable or erratic. Antonyms: hero, honest person, as a noun. As an adjective: dependable, trustworthy, reliable, dependable, bankable, trustworthy. Hinge, we have got many a time. Part of speech verb. It can also be a noun. In the context of the editorial, verb, meaning depends on or is contingent on something. Hinges. Hinges means depends on. The success of the negotiation hinges on the mutual understanding. What does it mean? The success of the negotiation depends on mutual understanding. Erratic weather, erratic monsoon, very good. Sporadic, pandu. Erratic, sporadic, scattered, intermittent, wonderful. Irregular. Word forms: hinge as a verb, hinged, it's a regular verb, can be used as an adjective. Hinge, a noun, hinges, a verb, third person, then we add s. Hinging, verb use, ing form used as a noun, we use a term gerund. Word combinations: hinges on something, takes a preposition on. Pivotal hinges means important hinges. Synonyms: depends, relies, rests. Antonyms: irrelevant, detached, independent. More than irrelevant, better words: detached, independent. Exactly. That is true. Who is that? Divya. Very good. She says, to be determined, decided by, to depend on. I appreciate whatever you write, highly appreciable. Another important word, extradition, part of speech, noun, meaning the official process where one country surrenders a suspected criminal to another country for prosecution. Extradition. The extradition treaty allowed for the transfer of the accused to face trial in the foreign country. When they are extradited, they are going to face a trial in a foreign country. Word forms extradite verb, extraditable adjective, important word forms. Extradition request from a particular country, extradition agreement between two countries. Synonyms surrender, deportation, another important word you have to know. Antonyms asylum, we have got many a time shelter, sanctuary, not exactly, non extradition. Extradition, what is opposite? Non extradition. I guess that is the last, we have the last word. Again, very important. They have given in many competitive exams sagacity, part of speech noun meaning acuteness of mental discernment, means mental sharpness and soundness of judgment. In a nutshell, it means being wise, sharp, and using sound judgment. The leader's sagacity guided the team through challenging decisions. An important example, euphemism, that's right. For mental hospital sounds very harsh. For that, we say asylum, that is extradite Vijay Malia, good example, Avinash. Here, word form sagacious, an important word form, sagaciously, adjective, adverb. Wisdom and sagacity, very important, and sagacious leader, another important combination. Wisdom, synonyms, intelligence and insight. Antonyms, foolishness, ignorance, imprudence, all are important words. That's all about the editorial vocabulary. How long has it taken? Almost 15 minutes, but worth spending so much time because along with the word meaning, you got the example, you got the word forms, you got the word combinations, and also you got the synonyms and antonyms. One shot, all about the word you get that is going to help in the long run. What is the tone of this editorial? Because India has been accused, there is an indictment against India, obviously. The tone of this editorial appears to be serious, concerned about the image of the country, and critical. One or two aspects criticized by the stand taken by the editorial. The writer addresses the potential impact of the indictment by the US Department of Justice on India's reputation as a principal power. It is going to make some sort of impact, potential impact. It has the potential to make a negative impact, in fact. Let's see how it starts. A lot at stake. At stake means at risk, being in danger of being in a position of losing something. Something is at stake, means at risk. A lot at stake on India and the impact of the indictment by the US Department of Justice. So it's all about on India and the impact of, as I said, it's all about the impact of the indictment, serious allegation by the US Department of Justice. What is it? Impact on, impact of. Either way, based on the context, impact on something, impact of something. There's an impact, there's no impact on him. The impact of the new policy has to be judged slowly. You can use both, but based on the context, you have to change on, off. What is the main idea of this editorial? India's reputation. I'm sure you all know the meaning of the word reputation. Means what? Name and fame of a person or a country. India's reputation as a principal power is at stake after the indictment. Here, principal power. When it comes to this particular word, you have to immediately recollect two words which go with confusing words. What are the two words? Principal and principle. Here, principal everyone knows goes with school, and principles usually plural form. What does it mean? Values. He is a man of principles, means what? He is a man of values. A principled person means a man of values or ethics. So India has a reputation as what? Principled power is at stake after the indictment. The main idea, the US has blamed or accused or alleged India about the plot to kill a particular person, Khalistani separatist, and this particular indictment is going to make a serious impact on the image of the country. That is the main idea. So, what is this about? The first sentence is very long, like a mini paragraph. A man of letters means a learned person, a scholar, a polymath, highbrow. That is a different one altogether. Who is this Pandu? Man of principles different, man of letters different. Man of principles means values, ethics, virtues, all these words. And man of letters, a learned person, an intellectual, a scholar, a genius, a polymath, a highbrow. All these words were a separate group altogether. The impact of the 15-page indictment filed by the US Department of Justice against an Indian national believed to be directed by an Indian government official for attempting an assassination plot against, excuse me, US based Khalistani separatist Gurpatwan Singh Pannan is likely to be felt in more than just the US and India. Such a lengthy sentence, but what does it mean? The impact of the 15-page indictment, 15-page indictment, not they must have provided a lot of information filed by whom or which department? By the US Department of Justice against whom? An Indian national. And why? Believed to be directed by an Indian government official. This individual was directed, believed to be directed by an Indian government official. For what purpose? For attempting an assassination plot. Against whom? Excuse me. Against the US based Khalistani separatist Gurpatwan Singh Pannan is likely to be felt in more than just the US and India. Means other countries also, they may wait and watch. It may be felt in other countries, especially there are five countries that has been mentioned, a particular group, and immediately in Canada, obviously. In a nutshell, it talks about an individual being accused of planning to kill a Khalisani leader, and this individual, guided by a government official representing India, and this allegation presented. I will do that. Thank you. Presented in a 15-page indictment. The indictment is based on details of communications between the accused. On what basis they have come up with this 15-page indictment? The editorial talks about that. The indictment is based on details of communications between the accused. Who is this accused? The person who has been pointed out or blamed, an illicit drugs and arms dealer. Illicit means illegal. An illicit drugs and arms dealer, Nikhil Gupta, with a serving Indian government intelligence officer. This is actually very surprising. The indictment is based on details of communications between two individuals. Who are the two individuals? One, the main person accused, an illicit drugs and arms dealer, Mr. Nikhil Gupta, and the other one with a serving senior Indian government intelligence officer who is identified but unnamed, as well as not only these two more persons are there, as well as important, you have to recollect the rule, with two men in the US who were allegedly engaged to kill Mr. Pannan. Total four persons. One person, illicit drugs and arms dealer Nikhil Gupta, being directed or guided by a serving senior Indian government intelligence officer, along with these two men in the US who were allegedly engaged to kill Mr. Pannan. This is all about the indictment. The twist in the tail, an important expression. What does it mean? Something unexpected. You don't expect, then what do you say? Twist in the tail. Tail means a story. The twist in the tail, unreported on so far in the US or Canada, is that the two US based men were working for US law enforcement, making it clear that American agents have been following the investigation since at least May. Who are the two guys, along with Nikhil Gupta and the government official, intelligence officer? They work, the two US men or the men based in the US, they work for US law enforcement, making that makes it clear that American agents have been following the investigation since at least May, like undercovers. There have been meetings between the US President Joseph Biden and Prime Minister Narendra Modi Other senior officials have met too since then. After this, a bolt from the blue. Very good. Who is that? Pawan Kumar, I appreciate. All of a sudden, something unexpected and something negative. The news came as a bolt from the blue. Twist in the tail. Yes, unexpected change in the story. Very good, Divya. The allegations raise troubling questions. Now, these allegations, the impact, the allegations raise troubling questions about how much was shared between the two countries and whether the Modi government, which had been outraged by similar allegations made by Canadian Prime Minister Trudeau, has been less than honest about what it knows. Again, a lengthy sentence. The allegations raise some questions, troubling questions, about how much was shared between the two countries, that is, India and the US, and whether the Modi government, which had been outraged, very angry by similar allegations made by Canadian Prime Minister Trudeau, has been less than honest about what it knows. One is in past perfect, another is in present perfect. Based on the context, you have to change that tense. If the government had knowingly authorized the targeting of six separatists who are on India's UAPA terrorist designation list, then that implies, imagine government has directed, it implies what? Implies a dramatic change in Indian policy, which it should be more upfront about. It shows that if at all they directed the officer and the individual Nikhil Gupta, it shows a dramatic change in India's policy, which it should be more upfront about, means more frank, candid. If top officials had no inkling about the plots, imagine they were not aware of the plots, and as the Ministry of External Affairs has stated, this is not government policy. It is also a matter of grave incompetence and rogue officers. Imagine there are two possibilities. One possibility, India may say, yes, we have directed. It will not do that. Second possibility, it will deny the accusations. It will say, no, it is we have not directed. It is not government policy. The moment the government says denies the allegation or the accusation, the officer becomes a rogue officer. Based on that, the sentence says if top officials had no inkling about the plots, and as the Ministry of External Affairs has stated, this is not government policy, it is also a matter of grave incompetence and rogue officers. Two aspects. One is incompetence, serious incompetence, and rogue officers within the organization. If, however, on the other hand, if, however, the US's and Canada's allegations are unfounded, only allegations, later India gets exonerated, they stop blaming, and Indian officials are not linked to the plots, then the government needs to furnish evidence. They have to furnish evidence. In any case, the management of public messaging in the matter, in any case, whatever the case is going to be, the management of public messaging in the matter, especially India's reaction to Canada versus the US, appears inconsistent. When Canada accused, India got outraged. Now the US, more or less the same blame or allegation or accusation, a different reaction. Based on that, the sentence says inconsistent. Now we'll go to the second part of the editorial. Whatever the factors behind the government's responses thus far or so far, it is significant, it is important that it has now instituted a high level inquiry committee. Based on the indictment, based on the allegations, what is the response of the government? It has now instituted, present perfect tense, a high level inquiry committee. Committee, again, you have to become alert, you have to recollect the rules related to collective nouns and the examples jury, committee, team, staff, all the words. To look into the US's allegations, look into, find out, an important phrasal verb. Much hinges on, much depends on its outcome. Based on the committee's report, a lot depends. To begin with, India's US ties could be impacted by what transpires. What transpires? Transpire means the exchange happens between two parties. To begin with, India's US ties could be impacted by what transpires as White House expects India's full cooperation. Obviously, India too must ask the US, which is rightly placing such emphasis on The plot: why it is not keen on extraditing to India a man facing terror charges. Now, India has to demand extradition of that person because the US has taken a firm stand about its indictment. India's reaction should be ask for extradition, but India has not done it. Second, the US and Canadian allegations will directly impact India's ties with, as I said, Five Eyes intelligence partner countries. There are five countries. They have formed a group, and the name given to those five countries, Five Eyes, intelligence partner countries. I know two, the US and Canada. Three more countries are there, and all the five countries will definitely become suspicious about India. It will make a negative impact, which must not be overshadowed by this one case. So there's a possibility, but it's not, this one particular case should not overshadow the ties between the Five Eyes intelligence partner countries. Finally, it is India's reputation as a consistent and credible power. Credible means what? Believable. One which has earned respect worldwide for its sagacity and principled approach. So, all these years, India is known as, what is the image of India? Known for its sagacity and also principled approach based on values and ethics on such issues in the past that hangs in the balance. Now, it may go this side or that side, and New Delhi must judge its next steps in the case extremely wisely because there's a lot at stake to begin with. It started with there's a lot at stake. Based on that, a lot at stake, New Delhi must judge its next steps in the case extremely wisely. That's all about the editorial, an important editorial. Not easy to understand, not easy to comprehend because of the words, because of unfamiliar context, and because of lengthy sentences. Nothing to worry. Try to read twice, thrice. You will be able to understand. These are the courses I'm offering right now, and have a look after the session. You will get all the details. Let us go to comprehension skill, which is very important from the selection point of view, especially mains point of view. Try to answer these questions. What is a primary concern raised in the editorial? India's economic policies, US Canada relations, India's reputation as a principal power, international trade agreements. Clever, Lakshman, clever, wise, judicious, all these words you can think of. Discerning, discernible. Answer is the third one. India's reputation as a principal power. Yes, of course, Pandu. We do come across errors in the Hindu paper. I've shown many a time. Usually, when I tell people, they don't believe. Here and there, we do come across, but not because the writer doesn't know. Perhaps possible the person who types, the DTP operator, one possibility. And sometimes they mention this is about the errors. And sometimes it may look like an error, but it is part of modern or current English. Exam point of view, not acceptable. That you have to always remember. According to the editorial, who is the target of the assassination plot mentioned in the US Department of Justice indictment? Who is the target of assassination? Assassination, we have got many a time, so I haven't brought the meaning. What does it mean? Kill an important person, like the president, prime minister, leader. We don't use the word murder, we use the word assassination. US President Joseph Biden, Canadian Prime Minister Trudeau, Gurpatwant Singh Pannan, a Khalistani separatist, Indian intelligence officers. Answer is the third option. What is the twist in the tale mentioned in the editorial regarding the US indictment? What is the twist in the tale? The accused is an arms dealer. The two US based men were working for US law enforcement. The indictment is based on economic fraud. The accused is an Indian government official. But twist in the tale, Third one, what is a twist in the tail? The twist in the tail, the two US based men were working for US law enforcement. That is again very surprising. When I went through this editorial, I was taken aback. I was really surprised. Why does the editorial raise questions about the Modi government's response to the allegations? Why does it raise questions? Raise, we have seen many a time. Alleged inconsistency in India's reaction to Canada versus the US, lack of interest in diplomatic relations, the government's focus on economic policies, no evidence to support the allegations. Fourth one, inconsistent, alleged inconsistency in India's reaction to Canada versus the US. What action has the Indian government taken in response to the US allegations according to the editorial? What action has the Indian government taken? Or what action has been taken by the Indian government, passive voice, in response to the US allegations according to the editorial? Implemented economic sanctions, instituted a high level inquiry committee, cut diplomatic ties with the US, denied any wrongdoing. So, what is the answer? Instituted a high level inquiry committee. That's all about this editorial. Thanks for being with me till the fag end of the editorial, but I've got something important to say. Give me a minute. If you guys remember, I said I would start something on December 1st. Today is December 1st. And same time someone said, "So will you start on Monday?" I don't know why that student said that. Huh. So, Pandu, please don't ask questions out of the editorial. You have been asking questions out of the editorial. I told many a time I will not answer questions out of the editorial context. Have you come across this one? I think justified. But earlier I saw a few questions out of the context. Please don't do that. This I will answer. Inquiry is British English, and sorry, enquiry is British English. Inquiry is American English. Otherwise, meaning wise, no difference. Pandu. Both mean the same. Enquiry, British, inquiry, American. Coming to the new, whatever I have, which is going to be very useful, I will be starting on Monday. You have to wait till Monday, and it is going to be for a month or based on the exam date for 45 days. No, 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 please don't say sorry. I appreciate your enthusiasm. Never feel sorry about learning. You want to learn, that is highly appreciable. But out of context, what happens? We run out of time. That is a basic problem. Not that I cannot answer, not that I don't want to answer. Time is precious here. I keep answering questions outside the framework of the editorial. We don't have so much time. Please wait till Monday. I will not let you down. And whatever I'm going to start will be extremely useful. I assure. No second thoughts about that. It's a matter of 2, 3 days. Because of the tight schedule, I could not. But this weekend, I'm going to work on that. From Monday, you'll be having special sessions, very useful in the long run. Do remember to subscribe and share. Thank you very much. Jan 5th, have you got the date? Who is this Varaprasad? Have you got the date? They said first week. Morning I asked the students, they said no, sir, Jan first week. No, it will be on prelims first. Who is this Varaprasad? After prelims, mains, obviously.